Hi, it's Lori from Coast to Coast Craft Girls, coming to you from the West Coast. I'm still working on my thank you cards from my daughter's wedding. This one is for the florist. And I used the Altenew Billowing Peonies stamp set with stencils to create this beautiful stenciled card. Nice and flat so you can mail it. Super easy. Let me show you how it's made. Okay, so I took a piece of white card. This is 5 by 6.5. Well, it's actually it's about 4 3/4 by 6 1/4. And this is the Altenew Billowing Peonies stamp, outline stamp. And I just stamped this on kind of on an angle, like this, because I wanted to fill the card with the peonies. And I don't care that they're coming off the edge. I actually love the looks of that. And I'm going to stencil it. I'm going to use the stencils that come with it to color those peonies. So let me get started. I'm going to get my sticky mat out. The sticky mat's from Altenew. And it's got kind of like a little bumpy side, but I'm going to get my peonies on there. And then this particular Billowing Peonies set has a stencil set that comes with it. And for both the large peonies and for some smaller peonies. I'm just going to use the ones for the large. And it's got these stencils. And so I'm going to go through and color all these one at a time. So I'm going to start with stencil number 1. And I'm going to make my peonies pinks with some pinks. And I've got some Altenew inks. I'm going to use strawberry, dusty pink, blush rose, and raspberry sunset. So we're going to start with the lightest color, which is strawberry. And I've got some Altenew, these are small ink blending brushes that I'm going to use. Load up some ink. And I want it fairly subtle. I don't want a really dark color. I want this to be almost white, but just kind of that hint of color. But with such a large area, it's good to have a little bit, I usually use the mini blending brushes, but they don't work as well on such a large area. And I don't care that it's not 100% even. Okay, there's stencil 1, and I'm just going to set those stencils aside so that I can wash them later. Stencil 2 is for the bottom peony, and I'm actually going to do that one in exactly the same color. In the layering guide, they do them in 2 different colors, which is why these are 2 different sets of stencils, but I want both of mine pink, so. I have my stencil 3. And this layer I'll do with dusty pink. And I was expecting these to line up, but they do not. So I'm going to have to do one at a time. for the center of my flower, I'm going to use a nice kind of a yellowy brownish color, maybe golden honeycomb. Then for my leaves, I'll start with olive. And then there's a couple two little things that go in the center of the flowers, very center. And then one more stencil of my leaves. And I'm going to use the sugar kelp ink. And there we go. My stencil Billowing Peonies. Get that off my sticky mat. And then when you're done with your sticky mat, always make sure you put the cover piece of acetate or whatever it is back on so that it stays sticky. And I'll clean my stencils in a minute, but I'm gonna go ahead and put my card together. So I've got, my card is 5 by 6.5, and I just cut a piece of black cardstock that's just a tiny, tiny bit larger than this. In fact, I'm going to trim this down just a hair. I really like to do just this little, tiny little black sort of matte frame because I think it just adds to the florals. It makes it look so pretty. I'm just going to go ahead and glue those two on. And then I just stamped thanks out on a little piece of white card and matted it with some black. And I'm just going to put that down here on a little bit of foam. Just like that. So pretty. And we're all done. Thanks for watching.